So this bridal client reached out to me, inquired with me, signed up for my tasting, had the tasting, chose her flavors, accepted the quote, and I sent her the initial invoice for the deposit and she got it paid right away. 5 weeks before the wedding, I send the final email that I need to collect all of the remaining information so that the month before your wedding I can leave you alone. And at that time I also send the final invoice and let all of my couples know it's due 4 weeks before the wedding. So I do that. She emails back right away, gives me all the information I need, and then says, hey, my mother-in-law is going to pay the remaining balance due as her wedding gift to us. The remaining balance due was, I want to say, somewhere between $1,000 to $1,200. This was a really big wedding with a huge cake and one of my dessert table packages. This is very commonplace, so I was like, okay, not a problem. Please let me know if you need me to forward the invoice to your mother-in-law. She emails back again right away and is like, no, I can do it. Not a big deal. She'll get it paid. Cool, we're good to go. So from that email exchange, there's 1 week until the invoice is due. Well, a week after that week, so 2 weeks after that email exchange, I still have not received payment, and now it's 3 weeks until the wedding. I reach out and I email her and I'm like, hey, sorry to be bothering you, but the final invoice has not been paid yet and it's now a week past due. We need to get it taken care of. She emails back again right away and is like, I'm so sorry. I'm going to reach out to my mother-in-law right now and I'll get this taken care of. Another week passes. We're 2 weeks out from the wedding. She's ordered a large dessert table. I need to start ordering specialty ingredients and specialty packaging and all kinds of specialty stuff still needs to be ordered.
With stuff like this, vendors that need to create something have to pay for materials. You got to pay them for the materials. Otherwise, they are literally paying out of pocket.
But I'm not going to do that for such a giant amount of people if I have not received full payment. So I reach out again and I'm like, listen, there's 2 weeks until your wedding. I have to start ordering all of these specialty products to make this experience what it's supposed to be, and I have not received final payment. We really need to get this settled if you want to have what you plan to have dessert wise at your wedding for me. She emails back again, so sweet, and she's like, I'm so sorry, I'm incredibly embarrassed. We're gonna get this taken care of, I promise. Another week goes by. It's 1 week until the wedding. At this point, I email her and I'm like, listen, I am really sorry to be doing this to you, but if I do not receive payment by tomorrow, we're not going to be able to do this. This is we're cutting it way too close. I'm so sorry. At this point, I don't hear back from her, but I hear from the mother-in-law. She is absolutely scathing this email she sends me. She tells me that she's looked over the quote and she hasn't known how to approach me, but I am ripping them off and she is absolutely not going to pay the amount that's due. How dare I even be charging them that much? The best she can do is to pay $500. And again, the remaining balance is $1,200. At this point, I don't know what to do because I've been talking to the bride, who is the one that ordered all of this, but she said her mother-in-law is going to pay. Now the mother-in-law is saying she's not going to pay because I'm ripping her future daughter-in-law off.
Then don't get it then. I reach out to
the bride and I'm like, I'm in between a rock and a hard place. What do I do? And she basically tells me that her and her soon-to-be husband do not have the money to cover everything that they've ordered, and they're depending on the mother-in-law to pay for it. And I'm like, okay.
Okay, that's not your problem, bestie. That's literally not your problem. If you can't afford it, you don't get it.
So to begin with, my contract that this bridal client signed states that it's a non-refundable retainer, which is used for goods and materials that are non-perishable, as well as to compensate me for my time with the consultation and the tasting and all of that. She did sign that contract, but here's what I did. The mother-in-law was really mad. She wanted to offer me partial payment for the dessert table and the cake I believe it was about 400 people. I obviously was not going to take that. So I ended up telling my bridal client, at this point in time, I have not received any money from your mother-in-law. The only person who has paid me is you. I have only emailed back and forth with you. I don't feel comfortable talking to your mother-in-law with the way that she's speaking to me, so I'm going to speak to just you from now on. If she had paid, then I may have also spoken to her, but she hadn't. The mother-in-law demands a three-way call between me and her future daughter-in-law and herself. I didn't take it, but the bride had given her mother-in-law my phone number and she hounded me for a very long time. The bridal client essentially told me my husband and I were counting on my mother-in-law to cover this for us because they have a lot of money and we just didn't save for it. We have overextended ourselves trying to pay for this wedding and we literally do not have the money because we did not save for it. So I basically I can't pay for this without her help. I had gone back and forth with the two of them and just dealt with this whole situation for so long, and I needed to conclude it because at this point I knew that I wasn't going to get paid for all of these services. So I ended up giving this bride two options, and the first option was I could offer her a cutting cake that I would deliver to her wedding that would equal the value of the deposit, which by the way is completely outside of my contract, but
Nice
I
of
just
you.
felt so bad for the situation that she was in.
Right.
My contract states that I would retain the deposit and she would not get anything from me because she didn't complete her remaining portion of the payment, but I literally could not stand to do that to her. I felt so bad for her given that it was so close to her wedding. The second option that I offered her was I could give her all of the non-perishable goods that I had purchased for her dessert table, and she could attempt to do her dessert table for herself. For whatever reason, she consulted with her mother-in-law, and the mother-in-law decided that she would want me to give them the non-perishable dessert table goods, and she was going to do the dessert table for her daughter-in-law. I am sure that you can all imagine how that went terribly, and now her daughter-in-law and her son did not have any cake at all because she was supposed to pick up a cake from Sam's Club for them to cut, and she didn't even do that. By the way, the bride contacted me after the wedding and told me all of this, and I did ask her permission to share the story, and she said I could, but she asked me to not share the pictures of their dessert table, even though she did send me those after the wedding. It was a really unfortunate situation all around. I learned a lot from it, and yeah, very unfortunate. You may be asking yourself why the husband was not dealing with his mom.
Period.
Because she was being kind of a monster. I also asked myself that, and I do not know the answer. I did end up offering them a free first anniversary cake out of the kindness of my heart because I felt so bad for them. As you may have guessed, they're no longer married.
Oh, that's a plot twist. You know, there's a part of me that is like sad, but also not surprised. Because if I had that person for a mother-in-law, 400 people and she complained about $1,200. You gave her a deal. Yeah, I mean, well, it's probably more than that because they had to pay a deposit. But like, yeah, that's kind of how much like cake and desserts cost.
The bridesmaid who accidentally told me that she hated me. I do just want to quickly say that I'm only going to say this story because it just fit the trend yesterday. Like, I don't sit here and think about it. There's no negative feelings. And this is going to be a longer video. It just is. There's no way that I can make it a quick thing. Flashback to whenever I was engaged. First things first, you get all your girls together. I had 9 bridesmaids, and I was really excited to ask everybody to be a part of my bridal party. And I had one specific friend, the bridesmaid, who I was hanging out with pretty frequently. With that being said, I have always known who my maid of honor was going to be. Even before I met Zach, my best friend from college, my sorority sister, I've just always known. Whenever I asked all my girls to be my bridesmaids, I started noticing really weird behavior from this one specific bridesmaid after I asked my maid of honor to be my maid of honor. And by that, I mean she would start to make comments like, I wish I hung out with new people, I want to make new friends, and she would say it to me, like only to me. It would have been a red flag. It was a red flag back then, but I just told myself, you know what, I'm busy wedding planning, maybe that's where it's stemming from. She met a girl, and we're going to call her friend number 1, and later on there's going to be friend number 2, but for now it's just my bridesmaid and friend number 1. Friend number 1 I met. At one point, we were even like a little trio of friendship. She was even a guest at my wedding. At some point, I was booted out of that friendship. Again, I know that should have been a red flag, but I kept telling myself, like, I'm really busy wedding planning, and that's just not an area that they can relate to or want to be involved in right now. After a little while, in would come friend number 2. So now my bridesmaid is in a trio kind of friendship with these 2 other girls, one who I've met, friend number 1, and friend number 2 I have never met. To this day, I've never met. On the day that she accidentally told me that she hated me, we had been drinking, and she told me that she wished that she hung out with me and my maid of honor and just me and my friends all together. And I was like, that is a great idea. Maybe we can all hang out. We can all be one massive friend group. And instantly, she said verbatim, my friends would think that it was weird as if I asked them to hang out with you. And that comment literally shocked me to my core.
What?
I physically felt my heart do something. I was like, are you sure? I know, friend number 1, we've hung out. Like, I thought we were friends. She's like, no, look, I'll show you. She whips her phone out and she pulls up a group message between her and these 2 other girls, one who I've met, one who I've never met, and they're literally just me. There's even screenshots of mine and my bridesmaids' messages, like, in there. I was referred to as a toxic ex-boyfriend who she can't get rid of. The girl that I've never met before, in all capital letters, there's a message from her saying, I hate her. And just a group message where they're just on me. And mind you, this is my best friend just showing this to me.
So all of this stemmed from you picking someone else to be your maid of honor instead of her?
Fortunately, I had no backbone. I really didn't, because friend number 1 was even a guest at my wedding. And I had a lot of love for my bridesmaid. She'd been my best friend for several years. I genuinely just did not have a backbone, and I let her convince me that this was kind of all just like a misunderstanding and she didn't mean it, and the messages were even saying it out loud, I'm kind of disappointed in myself. Ultimately, she did stand up there in my bridal party beside me on my wedding day. And like I said, that's on me, that's on nobody else. But we would never see or hang out with each other ever again after that. And I never got an explanation until about a year later. I got a random text from her, and I got to give it to her. It was a noble apology. It literally was like, I'm sorry, you did not deserve that. Excuse me. Sorry, you did not deserve that. I surrounded myself with mean girls, therefore I became a mean girl, and literally just owning it and just saying sorry. I did accept the apology. Like I said, I had a lot of love for this human, and we shared a lot of really happy memories together, so I accepted the apology, but we've never seen or spoken to each other since. I forgot to mention that one day after my wedding, I just woke up and my bridesmaid and friend number one had just unfollowed me on social media. So flash forward a couple months, they all have a falling out, and friend number one tries refollowing me on social media, and it was honestly just really triggering to me, just because, like I said, I never got an explanation, and I never understood why it was happening. So I just flat out messaged her and I said, hey, I don't want you to feel like you have the right to follow me. You guys bullied me for several months and for no apparent reason. And I gotta give it to her too, because she owned up to it, and she said, you're right. We were mean to you for no reason, and I'm sorry that I made you feel that way, and I'm sorry I was involved in that, blah, blah, blah. I just didn't respond. Friend number two, like I said, I've never met her, will most likely never meet her. So the fact that I saw her say those things about me, I just genuinely just not a nice person. I don't want to meet her. And that's the story. That's the tea. I didn't mean to open a can of worms. I just thought that this situation really fit the trend well yesterday. But it is what it is. Just a classic case of like high school mean girl bullying. But we're happy and we're thriving now.
Period. And maybe there's a reason why you didn't choose this girl to be your maid of honor. Sometimes it's the people we love who end up showing their true colors. Better to know than to never find out. They were just straight up jealous of you. I'm jealous of you too, just for the record. Admiring the woman on this sound who showed off her modest wedding dress. The last slide. Okay, do you guys know what this is referring to? Because it's pretty funny. POV. You embraced your Christian modesty and your wedding was coming up. But you hated the immodest wedding dress trend. So you designed your own wedding dress and had it made for you. Okay, beautiful dress. Beautiful dress. And on your big day, you became a testament to the fact that modesty and beauty are compatible. True, true. For there is nothing uglier than an immodest bride who leaves nothing to the imagination. We're allowed to have personal preferences, all right, but let's not shame others for their personal preferences. Nowhere did I judge anyone or call anyone out. You are the ones doing the judging. Okay, you just called immodest brides who leave nothing to the imagination the ugliest things that ever existed. So I would say there is a little bit of judgment there.
Pretty girls don't hate. Pretty girls don't judge. Pretty girls are not haters. And we as a society just collectively agree that hating is the behavior of uggos. Here's the thing, like, I am so here for everyone embracing more modesty. I love it. I love it. I really do. But the thing is, like most things in life, having an all or nothing mindset, is it really the most productive? Like, sis, you look gorgeous. Okay, if modesty is your thing, okay, go ahead and rock it, because girl, you look beautiful. The hair, the dress, okay,
she does.
Everything, the makeup, it's together. It's there. But why do you have to put other women down just because they want to show a neck or because they want to show their back? Like, what is immodest to you? Also, what trend? Am I slow, or like, what is the immodest wedding dress trend? I haven't heard of it. I generally need someone to point out to me what a wedding dress is, because I haven't seen one. Girlie, what is your definition of immodest? Also, I'm so here for how she says, for there is nothing uglier. She doesn't say because there's nothing uglier. She said for there is. Okay, she's trying to make it seem like this
like
is
it's
something
out of the Bible.
Straight out of the Bible. Okay, it's giving archaic. It's giving Miss Shakespeare. Okay, for there is nothing uglier. Girl, just enjoy your wedding day. Okay, you're too pretty to be doing this hating. Okay.
Yeah, we don't need to state our preferences while also bringing down other people's preferences.
So something happened to me on my wedding day that I didn't think wouldn't happen. I didn't even consider it. Like, it wasn't a worry in my mind. But someone wore white to my wedding. And it wasn't like an off-white or a cream. It was full-on white. And this was someone that was like a friend of the family that I invited. I don't even know who they were. I don't even know you. And you're wearing white to my wedding?
Weird.
For this
Weird.
dress. Anyways, I didn't notice until kind of like midnight-ish that the wedding ended at like 3. And apparently my family had been filling shot glasses with red and would walk past her and they would just like chuck the red at her dress, like at the bottom of her dress. And she didn't notice. And towards the end of the night, her entire dress, like the entire bottom tier, was red. Just like red splatters everywhere. So make sure your family knows to do that. Anyone wears white to your wedding, make sure there's red nearby.
Can't believe she didn't notice. I feel like it is safe to say that, like, in this day and age, we all know you're not supposed to wear white to a wedding. Like, and if you do, this might happen.